Hey guys, thanks for joining us. This is Kit James,
Austin Davis,
and we're with NECKROOTS, another podcast. This episode is titled "Let It Go."
Yeah, learning to let go, right, Kit?
Yep.
This is good. If we're holding on, Kit, if we're holding on to bad memories, if we're holding on to bad experiences, anything bad, right? And even sometimes good, like sometimes we hold on to successes, and we'll talk a little bit about some things that we tend to hold on to. But we might as well just be walking around in circles, right? It's dang near impossible for us to progress as individuals.
Yeah.
We can't become better tomorrow than we are today when we're stuck in the past.
Yeah.
When we're holding on to these things, they hold us back.
Yeah. Well, we talk about living in the now, right?
Yeah.
How important is it to live right now? You can't live 15 minutes away from now, and you can't do anything about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
The only thing you can do anything about is now.
Right now.
So if it's important to live in the now, it's also important to mentally and emotionally exist in the now, right?
Absolutely.
Which is part of living in the now, but that means to let certain things go. Memories are priceless, and those memories that we try to create with our kids are priceless, but this is life, man. No one's getting out of here alive. Things do happen. This is our proving ground. This is where we're here. We're warrioring, learning to live, right?
Yep.
And learn and grow. And we're trying to grow through it instead of go through it.
Yep.
And as we do that, man, we're not perfect. Things happen, which means other people aren't perfect and things happen. So I think learning to let go is this is a very important life hack to learn. This is something that we all need to learn. We all need to tune it up. I don't care how good we are at it, right? I don't care
Absolutely.
if we're right next to Jesus, man. We're the most forgiving people in the world, but guess what? We still got work to do.
We do. We absolutely do. And you said something that deserves to be said again, and that is that we all go through it. Everybody, Neck Nation, every one of you.
Yeah.
Right? You've had something or multiple things happen in your life, both good and bad. We've all had good and bad. And everybody around you, same thing.
Yeah.
They may be different experiences, right? Nobody experiences something exactly the same as somebody else.
Yeah.
But we've all got it. Nobody's exempt from this.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
Don't feel alone in your challenge to learn how to let things go. Because we've all got to figure it out.
It's crazy because I know people that won't let certain things go, and they will defend them to their grave. They will fight to prove that they are right. And the truth is they just added a great big sack of garbage they packed through their whole life only to end up, dying with regret or whatever.
Yep.
Because the one thing just being right's not worth that baggage. But what's interesting about letting go, and I've learned, there's some people real close to me in my family that worry and won't let go of certain things, or what about this, what about that, and it really robs them of their power of today and the joy of today.
Yeah.
But it also holds them back. Progress stops 100%.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's sad because I see that, and it's like, I'm like, frick, man, why is every conversation start with worried about this or feel bad about that or whatever? Because what ends up happening is that moment when you're talking about that thing that happened in the past, or what this person did to us, or whatever it is, when you're talking about it, you relive every one of those emotions. Your brain doesn't know any different, right?
Right.
Even though you're not there now having that emotional hard time, you're reliving it.
Yep.
I think some things are worth remembering and some things aren't. You know?
Yep. And that brings up something real important, Kit, and which is, for some of us, in some situations and circumstances, we go to somebody to talk about something that's happened to us in the past, a traumatic event, a disappointment, something like that, something that's happened to us, something somebody did to us. We go talk to somebody, and in talking to somebody, they bring these experiences up over and over again. Every time you go talk to them, we're going to talk about this thing, and we're going to work through it, right? I've heard it myself, dude. I went through counseling for years, 15 years I went to counselors, and we talked about stuff, and, we're going to work through it. We're going to get through it, whatever it is. And for some people, that works. But for other people, living in that moment, every time you go to talk to that person, it drives you into depression. Yeah. It drives you into anxiety. it creates more of a problem than it solves.
Yeah.
And sometimes the best thing to do for some people, when you've had these experiences in the past, accept them for what they are,
Yeah.
right?
Learn from them.
Accept them, learn from them, move on.
Yeah.
Move on. So,
Yep.
well, I've got a list here. I'm going to read from this little list. These are things that we hold on to, and we
Okay.
can talk about these for a little bit. But some of the obvious, right? We hold on to relationships.
Yeah.
That's one thing that people are always holding on to. I think probably 90% of the population at one time has held on to a relationship or something, right? Successes and failures. I don't think that we associate success as something that we hold on to, but it is, and we can talk about it. Mistakes and regrets. You mentioned regrets. We hold on to mistakes. If you think all the way back, Kit, to our very first episode of the podcast, we talked about shedding your shame.
Yeah.
Right? So we can talk a little bit about that. Disturbing or stressful events. We just kind of talked about that a little bit. And then anger and resentment.
Yeah.
Dude, I think that's probably one of the biggest ones that was hard for me to get over was anger and resentment or disappointment
Yeah.
in somebody else. And then I just attached that to them.
Yeah.
And every time I saw them, that's
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah. That's
Right.
what you felt again.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of these. Which one do you want to hit on?
Frick, what's the first one on the list?
Relationships, dude. Let's go through it.
Yeah. So relationships, and it doesn't have to be a particular relationship in full, right?
No,
It
no.
can be a part of the relationship.
Yeah.
And part of the relationship, whether it's usually it's someone close to us or whatever, something they've done bad, or something that we didn't agree with or whatever. I mean, recently I've had an opportunity where a loved one went into the hospital and we're like, man, why didn't he tell us this? Or why weren't we aware of that? Or why? And as I'm having these conversations on the phone with my brothers and I'm sitting there in ICU, I'm like, none of that matters, man.
No,
Right?
it's not important
hit-
right now.
It hit me hard while someone's sitting there fighting for their life, right? In ICU, and nurses and doctors are coming in every 15 minutes to keep this loved one alive. It's like, what does it matter?
Yeah.
How we got here don't matter.
No.
You know what matters is we rally. And I'll tell you right now, our family's not anywhere close to the perfect family, right?
No, man.
But you know what a perfect family is? A united family.
Unite. I love that.
And our family united, man.
Yeah.
I got brothers in different states. They motored in at great sacrifice, and that's what matters.
That is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that
absolutely.
other stuff, it's just interesting, whether you're knocking on heaven's door or maybe almost kind of thinking about it in ICU.
Yeah.
What matters?
Yeah.
None of it.
None of it.
What matters is that we come together and our family unites.
Yeah.
All that other stuff, dude, gone.
For the better, right?
Yeah.
Let's not focus on the negative. Let's
No.
focus on the
Yeah.
positive and move forward.
Yeah.
Right. Awesome. And I love that. And it's not just, this may be, you may be thinking, Neck Nation, maybe this is like a breakup. But it's not limited to just that. I mean, there is a lot of us hold on to those
Yeah.
things. I mean, I've had past girlfriends where I held on to something for months or whatever it was. But
Well, yeah, if
this
they
is-
made good cookies, you got
yeah,
gotta
you know,
hang on.
we've talked about that
Yeah,
before.
bro.
It's a requirement that they got to make good cookies. But and like you mentioned, this is relationships with our families. This is relationships with our friends. This is
Yeah.
relationships in general.
in general.
right?
With our
And
dog.
with your dog,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Somebody passes away. How long are you going to hold on to that?
Yeah.
Do what you got to do to get over that situation, because everybody goes through
Yeah.
it. But don't hold on to it. Don't let it hold you back, right? Success and failure. I think it's easy for us to hold on to failure, right?
Yeah.
We end up associating or assimilating ourselves with the failure. Like,
Yeah.
this is who I am. We've talked about how that's a bad deal, Neck Nation. So
You know what, though? Repetition's a mother skill. It is important to remind ourselves and even me and whoever's in the sound of our voice that,
yeah,
because we can say it 100 times. Truth is, we do hold on to those failures in some regard, because when that next opportunity to get back on that horse comes around, that pony comes around,
yeah,
don't tell me you ain't thinking about getting kicked off again, right?
yeah.
You are.
You are.
You're hesitant, right? And as we go through life, we have those experiences, and those experiences create fear. And that's why it's so good to condition our brains to not just try again, but to keep doing, to keep grinding, to keep going. And
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. The important part of that is if if we're going to, at some level, hold on to failure, we let it build us.
Yeah.
We don't let it prevent us from doing things. We don't let it define us.
Right.
We're not a failure because we failed. In fact, you're a pioneer because you failed.
Right.
You tried. The other thing too is success. We don't think that, you probably don't think that holding on to success is unhealthy, but I'm not an Olympic gold medalist. I've won a desert race here or there, right? I've done, some of those things. But if we constantly go back to that for validation or reminisce about our successes, it's going to prevent you to some degree from creating future successes. Because you just go back and live in that moment. And it's okay to reminisce and be like, oh man, that was such a great time, or that was such a cool accomplishment.
Yeah.
But don't get stuck there.
How many times have you had that conversation with that person? Well, that's all we're going to say. That is 40, 50 years old. And it's like, man, back in high school, you remember that?
Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. If I could just go back in time.
Yep. There's not very many, but every once in a while, there's that guy.
Yeah.
The has-been. It's like, bro, you are 30 years past that prime, man. Create a new prime.
Get a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if that's all you got to talk about and you're still living in high school,
people are bored talking to you, man. You can only hear it so many times.
But not just that. You're a one-trick pony. It's like you got more tricks than that. We're more capable of that.
We are.
Yeah, so
all of us. I'm going to skip some of these. I want to go to, let's talk about anger and resentment, man. Because this is one that took me a while to get over, right? Attaching these feelings to certain people who have disappointed me. And even today, like, it's a struggle for me, Kit. Like, if somebody falls short of my expectation, I'll be perfectly honest with everybody here. Sometimes I have way too high of expectations for individuals, probably because I expect a lot of myself, right? And I hang on to disappointment like it's my lifeline, dude. And so I got a lot of work to do here. But the anger, I've had to learn to let go of anger for sure.
Yeah. Well, you know me, and you know some of my past, and I'm one of the most forgiving people in the world.
Oh, for sure.
And I've learned that not by reading a book. I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
And because your backpack starts to get real heavy and you can't figure out why. And when you start to figure out why it's heavy and you start pulling them rocks out that you named and put in there, you start to remember, and you're like, frick, dude, I got to let go of all this, right?
Yeah.
And so it's interesting because I'm really good at just letting go. I don't care if it's money. If someone steals money from me, I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? It's a piece of paper with a dead president on it.
Yeah.
I haven't met him. He hasn't met me. And, and I don't attach too much value to it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't just say, oh, you're forgiven, come do it again, right?
Right.
Twice bitten, you put your guard up for sure, right? But letting it go doesn't attach you to that memory, right? And it's easier to go make new money, right?
Yeah.
And stay up, because when you're Debbie Downer, nobody wants to do business with you, right? When you're complaining about this guy did this to me and I got this excuse and this happened and this, that, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Right? You want to get away. People want to be around that guy that's upbeat and doesn't have, and not just in business, in life, right? When you radiate, you smile and you got that sparkle and you got that drive and you seem like you're always happy and you're finding the best in everything. When you do that, you attract people, right? You attract opportunities. Right? When you're hanging your head, man, opportunities, they might come right past you, but they're not going to stop at your bus stop, man. They just aren't. Right?
Nope, you got to hop on.
Yeah.
You got to hop on.
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest things about this is, number one, it's happening more and more. I've noticed people are more and more angry, and they'll hold on to things that really have no meaning in life. And you look at the short span of life, no matter how you believe, it's a straight line.
Yeah.
Like right now, we're here in the now, and we're in life. But you got to look at afterlife, however you believe, and you got to look at it as a straight line.
Yeah.
And if you look at it as a straight line, you start to make different decisions, right?
Yeah, you do.
And there's only one thing it's impossible for me to forgive: someone disrespects my wife, right?
It's
in
over.
any way, shape, or
Yeah,
form,
one and done.
that's point seen, money lost, dude. Dead man can't testify.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I don't care who it is.
Right.
I don't care if they're related to her.
I think that's an okay position to take, Kit.
So
you told me something a little while ago about mercy. Do you remember? I think it relates to this really well. Do you remember what that was?
Yeah, so one of the other things that, man, I got kids, right? And I got loved ones that depend on me and look up to me. And we all do, right?
Yeah.
No matter what, whether you got kids or not, you got people that look up to you, whether you recognize it or not. And I think you get to that point in your life when you've lived a full life where if you're bitter or angry or holding on to something, it's easy for someone to say, "Oh, just give that person some grace, give him some mercy." And I think about it like this, and that is, there's things that I've done in my life and will continue to do in my life that I just hope and pray that other people will extend me that mercy and that grace that I would extend to somebody else.
Yeah.
Because there will come a time, I do not care when it is, whether you're living or dead, there will come a time when you go, man, I hope they'll have some mercy on me. Because no one's perfect.
No, none of us are.
So if we're going to ask for that, and we know that day's coming, I mean, it's come 100 times for me.
Yeah.
And so when you just have to put yourself in their shoes and go, you know what, I'm going to extend this person some patience, some mercy, and some grace, because I know one day I'm going to need that. Maybe not from that person, but from someone else, I'm going to need that.
Yeah.
Right? And so I want someone to extend it to me, and I want it to boomerang back around and come back to help me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is an important fundamental principle here, and we've heard it 100 times, which is you can't ask something of somebody else that you're not willing to do yourself.
You're right.
100%.
Yep.
Right? Perfect.
You can't teach your kids how to work from the armchair.
No.
Right? You can't armchair
You can't
quarterback
say,
hard
do
work.
as I say, not as I do.
Yeah,
right? It
work.
doesn't work. I mean, that's just a funny thing that people say. But the other thing that we have a hard time, that some people have a hard time giving up, is control.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe that's not for everybody. I think, or at least a few times in my life, I've had trouble giving up control over certain things, and maybe I still do. But I think in those situations, we've got to go back and identify why it is that we feel like we need to control everything.
Yeah.
Because that also holds us back. If you don't let other people have input into what's going on, you're not going to learn and grow from other people and their experiences. And other people, Kit, they have a lot to offer, right? As long as we're willing to listen and follow in some circumstances, dude, you learn a ton. You learn a ton. This is why we have mentors, somebody to follow.
Right.
So identifying why we feel like we need to control, right? And then identify your triggers, right? This is why we need to control. And then develop trust for others, right? Is how we're going to get over this holding on to control or feeling like we need to control things. So you got something here?
Yeah, I think that goes back to giving mercy and letting go and letting God, because and hoping that we receive that same mercy. And the reason is, when we do that, when we practice that, when someone sees that, it's easier down the road for someone else to do the same thing. And not just that, we end up learning something which builds trust, which builds confidence, which builds a roadmap towards growing, right? Yeah. And becoming better tomorrow than we are today. But if we can do it, and we do it first, learning to trust somebody, right, has to be with trusting ourselves. Hey, you know what? I'm going to try this. I'm going to let go, man. Yeah. I'm not going to hold this grudge. I'm not going to pack it around, because you know what? The funny thing is most people that pack that grudge around, that grudge rock or whatever it's named in your backpack individually, and everyone knows what it is. They're thinking of that specific thing that they have. It tears the person that holds the rock down. Yeah. Right? It don't tear the person you're pissed at down. It don't. Yeah. It don't hurt them. No. And people hold that grudge to try and hurt that person or that relationship or that thing.
It's not working.
No, dude, it's like a double-edged sword then, and it's cutting you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Absolutely. So I think learning to trust is learning the process, number one, trusting the process, and then watch. If it worked for us and it worked for you, it's going to work for them too. So give them enough rope to hang themselves. Give them that trust.
I like that. Give them enough rope. Yeah. That's perfect, Kit. So along with this, so we've talked about, we just kind of ran through a few situations of what we hold on to just with the title of this podcast, right? And learning to let go, we got to talk about some ways that we let go, right? So I got another list here of things. So we got to make a commitment or a decision. We've talked about this before. All decide, right?
Yep.
So make a decision right now that you're going to let go of something, right?
Yep.
That's the first step, is letting go of something. And then if you need to feel something about a situation, right? If this is you lost somebody, or you had a relationship issue, or you've got the anger, whatever it is. And I think we've talked about this too, is as men, we're told that we're not allowed to feel anything.
Right.
You can't have feelings.
Nope. You got to have hair on your peaches and shut up.
Yeah. That's it, right? It's there's this stigma that you're not a man if you feel something. And dude, that's not true.
No.
It's not true. Now, does that mean that you need to start going and crying to everybody that you run into? Probably not. I mean, if you do it, I'm not going to hold it against you. It's not necessarily how I would handle myself, but allow yourself to feel what you need to feel, and then go on, right?
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about acceptance. If this is something that you did, right, accept it.
Yeah.
If this is something that somebody did to you, accept it. It is what it is.
Yep.
Like you said earlier, we're not going to change it.
Nope.
It's nothing you do right now is going to change what happened back then.
The only thing you're going to change is the quality of your life going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that thing you're holding on to will impact the physical, not just the mental, but the physical capacity of your life. It does.
Yep.
Your mental controls that physical.
Yep.
And you can see it written all over their face. Those Karens that are angry at everything, and there's zero positive in their life, bro, they wear it on their face. They wear it in their eyes. They wear it everywhere. And it's killing them.
It is. Yep. It is.
It's heavy.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's a feeling that you associate with people like that, or there's this social acceptance of people who are like that, right?
Yeah.
Which is they're not pleasant people to be around.
No, not at all.
And for us and for you, Neck Nation, we want to be pleasant people to be around, right? So let go. We talked about forgiveness, right? We've done a good job talking about that. I think something else that's really important on learning to let go is creating new experiences.
Yeah.
Right? Plan them.
Yeah.
Execute them. They can be our goals, our do's, right?
Yeah.
Our desired outcomes. They can be other events or something like that. Whatever it is, create new experiences so you don't have to reminisce. Take the chance on new opportunities, right? Hop on the bus. Don't let it pass by.
Yeah.
Let's have some future successes so that we can take what we learn from our failures and build on that, right?
Yeah.
And then the last thing that I think we can do to let things go is take ownership.
Yeah.
We have a natural tendency as individuals to try and absolve ourselves from being responsible for things that go wrong. And Kit, sometimes the truth is, it's your own damn fault.
Yep.
It is.
Yep.
It's your fault.
Yep.
Right? And we need to just be able to take ownership of certain things, because you'll never move past them. If you're pointing the finger, if you're playing the blame game, which I think either we did a podcast on that or we were planning to do a podcast on that, playing the blame game, you're not going anywhere.
No.
You're never going to be able to let go of that.
When it's someone you love, bro, it's like, people will joke about me and my wife, and they'll be like, who wins an argument with you and your wife? Nobody.
Yeah. That's the truth.
We both
The joke
lose.
is the wife wins, but the truth is nobody
wins, bro. So
Yeah.
when you realize that, your night in the desert, man, when you know you've grown up is when you just let go. And if someone's just pissed and hanging on to it and not talking to you or whatever, you know what? My heart goes out to them because they're carrying a load. I can't help them carry it. I had a loved one that was upset with me and didn't talk to me for years, and I didn't know what I did. And I'm like, what'd I do? Well, he wasn't 100% sure, because in the midst of being mad, he forgot.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, okay, well, whatever I did, I just nutted up and said, whatever I did, I am truly sorry. Yeah. And I hope you forgive me for whatever it is. Right? Yeah. Because it was bad. Whatever it was. I'm sure. Yeah. Dude, I know me, so they're probably was.
They're holding on to it that long.
Yep. And so, but the funny thing is you almost forget. And then you
Yeah.
almost, when you start talking about it, if you hold on to it too long, you don't even make any sense. Sometimes updating ourselves and checking ourselves, go have a conversation with yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't like that conversation, neither does anyone else.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So-
Exactly. And then I guess one thing that's really true about this whole idea of being able to change, right? About being able to let go is, and I don't know if this is just for men or if this is for people in general, right? But when we focus on the downside of something, right? It's very hard to change, right? When you're like, this is the downside of this thing, depression, anxiety, we're holding you back. You're not
Yeah.
going to progress. You're like, you kind of just get complacent with those things and you're like, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't inspire people to change. Negative outputs doesn't really inspire people to change as much as the positive,
Yeah.
right? And experiencing something positive.
Well, first of all, you're right. When we focus on the negative, it doesn't outweigh the positive. When I've been gone for a while and I'm ready to get home and see my wife, bro, I will break the speed limit. I'll take a picture of it and send it to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I say, Frick, I miss you. I'm coming.
Yeah.
110.
Yep.
And the thought of me getting a ticket, nah, I don't care. Write it fast. I'll sign it and I'll send you a check. Let's go.
Fast.
So I think the benefits, some of the benefits, I noted a few of them. There's several, right? But let's just talk about some of the benefits. And I think the first one that we're going to realize is we're going to realize if we truly let go of something and give that mercy, right? And not just say, yeah, you're forgiven, but to truly mean it and to truly let go, we're going to realize a positive version of ourselves, right? That's a stepping stone, man.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
huge. We're going to see that we're capable of doing it, right? So seeing a positive version of ourselves is a big one. And then when we let go of that, what did we do? We made room for new experiences like you talked about.
Yeah.
I think that's another one. So making room for the new stuff and make sure the new stuff's positive,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, in math, two negatives might equal positive, but not in life, bro.
Not in life.
Right?
No.
So the third one is we'll handle obstacles differently. We'll handle them with grace and with mercy. If we learn to let go of something that maybe we've been holding on to for a long time, or a bad feeling, or anything that's negative, when we truly let go, that momentum shifts. And then as those new obstacles or challenges or relationship issues or whatever it is come up, guess what? How we're gonna handle it? Are we just gonna put that in the backpack and say, "Frick, here we go again"?
Yeah.
No, we're gonna start to build that momentum and that self-esteem and that learning to let go.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So the other one is we'll learn to love ourselves more
I think
as
that's
well.
probably the most important, isn't it?
Oh, frick, dude, it is the most important. If we can learn to love ourselves, it's hard to hate anyone else. You can dislike them and you can remove yourself from them, but no matter what they say, dude, sticks and stones. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And this love for yourself ties back to so many things that we've talked about. I mean, having confidence, right? Believing in yourself that you can accomplish and do great things, right?
Yeah.
You know, getting out of depression, right? Having self-esteem, all of this stuff, learning how to love yourself just sets you up for success
It does.
in the future,
Yep.
right? And it's hard to obtain success if you're in a pit where, you know, you're unhappy with yourself
Yeah.
and you're stuck there. And I've been there. Been there, Kit.
Everybody's
sure, maybe
been there.
you've been there. We've all been there. Maybe you're there right now.
Yeah.
But let go of these things so you have the ability to love yourself and so that you can accomplish great things moving forward. I love that. I think that's a great positive to letting go.
Oh, it's big. And if you are in a rut, just remember a rut's a grave with both ends kicked out of it. The sooner you can get out of it, the better.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it doesn't go anywhere, man.
No. Nope.
You're just in a rut. You might as well be in the grave.
Might as well be in the grave.
So it really kills you.
Yeah.
And emotionally, mentally, and physically, it does.
Yeah.
It wears you out, and everybody around you feels it.
And you want to know something about a rut, Kit? In the real physical sense of a rut, dirt bikes.
Yeah.
Right? There's ruts all the time with dirt bikes. Now, with the exception of a motocross track, which may just be
Lines.
a rut the whole way around the
Right.
track. But out in the desert where I race, there's ruts. And you know what happens to a rut every single time?
What?
It disappears.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get in a rut, and eventually the rut disappears, and you're out of the rut. So, like you said, it's a grave with both ends kicked out. There's an end to the rut.
Yeah.
Right? You just need to keep moving towards the end.
So, Neck Nation, when in doubt, throttle out.
Throttle out, dude. Power through the rut. Power through the rut and see the end. So,
okay. So one of the big ones after love is what will happen. Learning to love yourself and all these things we've talked about. I think one of the biggest ones, and the last one we can talk about, is it will inspire others. People will see, hey, Negative Nancy over there, whatever, so-and-so was dealing with this weight and this heavy feeling. And when you let it go, not only will you feel better, but you inspire those around you to do the same.
gosh, yeah.
I think that's
be an inspiration for people.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
And especially be an inspiration for those within the four walls of your own home. Because if you're holding that, they're seeing that. And it's monkey see, monkey do, you know? And you can't get mad at them later because they'll say, well, you did it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have to remember that regret is only for people that don't try. We need to try harder every day, right? It doesn't matter if we fail.
Yep.
Right? Failure does not equal our future, man.
Nope.
Our past doesn't equal our future.
It equals our education.
Today's a new day, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's a good message, Kit.
It is a
I
great
think we
message.
can leave it right there.
I need it.
Nation. Yeah.
Everybody needs it.
We need it, dude.
Yep.
I got a lot of growth to do in this area. So, well, Neck Nation, if you like the message, let's learn to let go. Right? Let's move forward. Let's move into the future and walk towards. Let's throttle all the way out towards those successes and those opportunities, and create new things for us, so we don't have to be stuck in the past. But we're on social media, right?
We're everywhere, man.
We're everywhere, yeah. Like and share and follow and subscribe. Like, share, follow, subscribe. We say it every time. We got to get into these algorithms on YouTube and into these other platforms, right? So we can spread this message and get it to other people. Check out the website, neckroots.com. Get yourself a hat, get yourself a shirt. You'll look really good in it, I promise.
Yep.
We look good in them. And, dude, if something can make me look good, it can make anybody look good. So get yourself a hat and a shirt. But we'll leave you with that, Neck Nation, and bless up.
Bless up, let go, and let God.
There you go.